Tinsan Motorsport team member Nigel made the journey to the Isle of Man to compete in the Manx Classic. This is a series of 3 hill climbs on consecutive days which takes place on public roads, many of which have been made famous by the TT. There were around 90 vehicles of all different kinds competing, and we were invited through our membership in the Classic Manx Sports Car Club. We took our 1977 Triumph Spitfire from our base in the heart of England's motorsport valley up to Heysham Port, where we had an overnight stay before the 2.25 hour ferry crossing to Douglas. We took our Spitfire on a trailer towed by a motorhome, with the hope that we could use the motorhome to explore, rather than putting miles on our competitive car. However, the roads proved too steep and treacherous for a large vehicle, which meant that we had to drive the Spitfire to and from the campsite to each event, a round trip of at least an hour each day. Our Spitfire is still road legal, but all competing vehicles receive a special dispensation to use public roads to get to and from each event, whether or not the car in question is road legal. And there was much more evidence of the motor racing culture on the island. Locals cheerfully offered their driveways for repairs, and there were painted curbs and protection on walls and posts to be found on the public roads. Of course, competing on public roads adds many more variables. Around 10% of competitors live on the island and drive these roads regularly, so all entrants had to attend a driver's briefing on Zoom the week before. On arrival, cars also had to be scrutinised, and there was a further driver's briefing at the iconic TT grandstand. During the scrutineering, a tear was discovered in Nigel's race suit, but of course this is exactly why he has been carrying a spare with him. As Nigel was destined to look like a newbie in a new sparkling white suit, he took the opportunity to also wear a brand new pair of gloves and boots. The first of the 3 hill climbs was on the south side of the island near Port Erin at the infamously steep Slock. The course is just 1.06 miles but climbs 421.26 feet at an average rate of 1 in 14. Nigel is used to competing on wide, purpose-built circuits or narrow hill climb tracks, so is looking forward to his first experience competing on public roads. At the Slock, as well as at the next 2 events, the cars were split into 2 batches, so there was a holding area at the top of the run, and they were brought down as a group before the next batch was released. On public roads, the paddock is simply the roadside, and each batch was brought to a staging area and then moved on to the start line. On day 2 of the event, we headed towards Peel, on the west coast of the island, for Craig Willis hill climb. This 1.45 mile long course starts at Glen Helen and finishes on the Cronky Body Straight. We had tried to recce this location too, but a 1.5 tonne weight limit forced us back. In fact, there is no space for any support vehicles or trailers here, so drivers had to meet in a nearby car park before being escorted to the course in batches. The final event took us into the coastal town of Ramsey for the Lurgy Fristle hill climb. At 1.48 miles, this is the longest hill climb in Great Britain today and passes three of the most iconic points on the TT course: the Ramsey Hairpin, the Waterworks and the Gooseneck. It also attracted the most spectators of the three events. We were able to complete one practice run and one competitive run before the forecast rain appeared. Naturally, no one was going to improve on their previous time in the bad weather, so run 2 became a fun run, and the third and final run was cancelled in the interests of safety. The mountain road was still closed, so we had to make our way back to the campsite along the equally scenic coastal road. Unfortunately, the many miles of driving caught up to the Spitfire and it stopped working on the edge of town. There appeared to have been a small fire under the bonnet, so it was quickly clear that a roadside repair would not be possible. Nigel was able to get a lift back to the campsite and had to return later to get the car back onto the trailer on a small residential street where cars queue for the traffic lights. Thank you again to all the locals for their patience. To close out a very enjoyable event, there was an awards ceremony hosted by Miltree's car dealership on the Saturday evening.